Cue Dave and Ryan in 3, 2, 1.
It's Dave and Ryan's movie review.
Just listen to me. We'll get through this. Trust me.
Who are you, man? You think it's easy being us? You don't care about me.
It's not true.
You're always talking about wanting a crew. Well, this is our crew. Right here.
I don't know how you work with those kids every day. High tolerance for pain, I guess.
Hey, Dave and Ryan down here, and we just got done seeing Hard Miles. This is a true story about he was a welding teacher.
Yeah.
Kind of turned social work counselor kind of thing at a charter school for troubled youth, we'll say, in Colorado. And every year he goes on this bike ride, okay?
That almost kills him.
That almost kills him. This year he is saddled, really, wasn't his idea to begin with.
Yeah, there was a hiking trip that the school was putting on for these kids, and the supervisor who was in charge of that, she broke her leg.
Got in a fight at the school, or got caught in the middle of a fight at the school.
Something happened to her leg, so she was in a boot the whole movie, and so it was basically pawned onto him for this trip.
So he decides to take these 4 troubled youth on this 762-mile bike ride from Watkins, Colorado, was just east of Denver on I-70, all the way down to the Grand Canyon. And the one main thing that, as a welding teacher, these kids were in his class. They built their own bikes. They tested them and all this good stuff. The movie kind of is just exactly what you would think it is, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a feel-good, inspirational sports movie, I guess you could say.
Cycling's a sport.
Cycling is a sport. I'm not saying that it's not. But it just goes through the trials and tribulations of everything that you would expect is going to happen on this trip. The highs and the lows, and not getting along, and the fights and all those other things. But at the end, the ending is of course, uplifting. They all come together. They make the trip. And Matthew Modine, who plays the teacher, kind of has a side story with it during the time his father is dying.
Yeah.
And he hasn't spoken to his father for 20 years. And he's going to go right past where his father is. And the whole time he's like, I'm not going. I'm not going to go see him. They didn't have a good relationship. There's flashbacks to the relationship between him and his father through the whole movie. But this was, I would say, it's a good movie. Maybe not necessarily a family movie. There's some kind of choice language. I mean, I know but it's funny. There are actual moments in this that are funny.
Yes.
And they kind of caught me off guard. They kind of caught me off guard. So you've got Matthew Modine in this one that you'll recognize. Sean Astin's in it for about 5 minutes. Plays a bicycle shop owner. The other one you may recognize is the school administrator, is Stanley from The Office. So this was a good movie. It's not a bad movie. It was better than I thought it was going to be. And if you enjoy the scenery of Southern Utah, you're going to love this movie.
Yeah.
It looked like they left Colorado, and until they get to the Grand Canyon, everything was shot in Utah.
Yep.
Looks very, very familiar if you hang around in Southern Utah a lot. I'm going to give this one 3 buckets out of 5. I did not have a problem with this movie at all. Great story. It's always helpful that it's a true story. And, the whole, towards the end, they start to realize that, or they find out that they've got the school is going to close.
Yeah.
And it just kind of tells the whole story about what's going to happen now to these kids with that we're in there. As it is, it's a school for troubled youth. So most of them would go to like a correctional facility after this school. So great movie. Give it a watch. I think, for the most part, I think you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, it was a decent movie. I'm going to give it 3 popcorn buckets. The scenery, the landscape shots were just beautiful.
Mm-hmm. It's Utah.
Yeah. But the story, I know it's a true story, but it just seems like there were some parts that were a little overacted.
I was going to say it would be interesting to find out how much of the story is embellished.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, it's a good movie. Definitely, I wouldn't say necessarily a kids movie, but maybe like an older teen movie. Uh, you know, great, good, inspirational teamwork movie. But yeah. Sean Astin was in it. Yeah.
Ryan does not like Sean Astin. And we might go into that a little bit more in detail on the podcast. I don't know. All right. So before we get out of here, of course, go check us out. Go to our YouTube channel. We had quite a few views for our Escape from Germany. Give us some comments, though. Watch our reviews. Tell us what you think. Tell us if we got it right. Tell us if we got it wrong. But that's on our YouTube channel, Dave and Ryan's Movie Review. You can also find us on Facebook. And don't forget the podcast. It's on Apple. It's on Spotify. You can find it where you listen to your podcasts at, okay? So until then, if you don't go see this one, go see a movie.